Three women in the room going unreported. This to me is like groundbreaking. I don't understand. I'm not seeing this anywhere on television news. I'm not seeing this anywhere on Drudge Report. This is huge groundbreaking news when it comes to the Vegas shooting, which we still don't have an answer for. All right, ladies and gentlemen, in case you didn't know this, and I'm actually shocked at how many people don't know this that are fans of INFOWARS. Some people I ran into today that were fans of mine didn't even know that I do a live show with Roger Stone 3 hours a day, didn't even know that INFOWARS is live 10 hours a day. And it's just incredible to me how many people don't even realize that. So we got to do a better job here, I mean, myself included, to make sure people know. But we want to go even more than that. We want to go 24 hours of live programming every day. We're building new studios. We're hot paste, the shampoo, all natural ingredients. It's all at InfoWarsStore.com and free shipping store-wide. So go to InfoWarsStore.com right now. Load up on all your supplements with the 50% off specials, and then receive free shipping on what may have ended up being a heavy order. Now it's free shipping, so it doesn't matter. That is the Memorial Day Extended Patriot Specials at InfoWarsStore.com. And please, if you're not supporting us at InfoWarsStore.com, but you're still a fan of what we're doing here, tell your friends and family about us. Tell your friends and family that we're live 10 hours a day. Tell them that there is an alternative to the fake talking heads with agenda-driven narratives on television. Nobody gets excited by television news anymore. It's drab. It's the same thing over and over and over. So tell them about InfoWars. Tell them about InfoWars.com/show, where we're live 10 hours a day. And we're very dynamic. David Knight, Alex Jones, myself, Roger Stone, the fourth hour guest host of the Alex Jones Show. Very dynamic, very diverse, and you really can get an entire wide-ranging scope of all of InfoWars.com/show. And we also have dynamic guests like Laura Loomer, who's joining me now. Laura, I'll be perfectly honest with you. I know that when the Vegas shooting happened and all of the coverage, I was one of the leading people trying to get out the truth with that, along with yourself, obviously, and other people here at InfoWars and in alternative media. But as far as the latest developments, I'm kind of in the dark. I've kind of lost my focus on that. It's just, to me at this point, like we're never going to find out the truth. They're just going to keep lying to us about it. But now there have been some other developments out there in Vegas, especially when it comes to Sheriff Lombardo. So tell us the latest.
Right. So about a week and a half or so ago, there was another document dump of Las Vegas shooting documents, which include call logs, witness statements, dispatch logs, and a lot of people just hadn't really gone through the evidence because it's 2,000 pages of documents, and as you know, the media has kind of forgotten about it. So I've been doing my investigation, and I was looking through these documents, and I found that in one of the dispatch logs, it says that when police entered Stephen Paddock's room, and they, had the unit under control, they're using all of this officer lingo and jargon. It says in the dispatch log that there were 3 women in Stephen Paddock's room, right? And this is something.
Wait, hold on a second. Hold on. I want to clarify this because I thought that there were 3 women that were in the room earlier but weren't in there when they went in. You're saying that there were 3 women in the room when they breached?
It said in the dispatch log, and you can read my article and see the exact wording. It said, units in control of room 32135, and then it says there's 3 women in the room. So, I mean, if I'm reading that and I'm a journalist, which I am, and I'm investigating this and I'm trying to figure out what happened in the Las Vegas shooting, and I'm reading these logs, well, why would an officer say we're in the room, it's under control, there's 3 women in the room, right? Why is it that?
I'm sorry. This is huge. This is bombshell. Stephen Paddock died in that room. One of those women could have shot him.
Well, even then, what's even more concerning is the fact that Sheriff Lombardo had said that nobody else was in the room with Stephen Paddock. Remember when Sheriff Lombardo and Aaron Rouse, the head of the FBI in Las Vegas, they said in the first press conference that they believe there was only one shooter and that Stephen Paddock was alone in the room and they're trying to figure out what happened? Well,
which has been totally disproven, by the way. Go ahead.
if they knew, yes, thanks to me and my investigation. I mean, I'm the journalist who confronted Sheriff Lombardo and the FBI with evidence, with exclusively obtained receipts and documentation that showed that, one, they lied about Stephen Paddock's check-in date, and also he ordered room service for two. So another thing, if you go back to that the graphic of that report that you just had on the screen there, another thing that you'll see there is that it says check-in date 9/25, so that would be September 25th. You zoom in, 9/25, scheduled to check out on October 2nd. So if you recall, and I believe I had exclusively reported this with INFOWARS when I was doing my investigation, Sheriff Lombardo told everybody that Stephen Paddock checked in to the hotel on the 28th, but you see from those dispatch logs with the date, it has the timestamp of 11:02 p.m. on the night that the Las Vegas shooting happened.
Okay, yeah. All right, but we know that they've been lying. We know they lied about that. I'm still focused on these three women. How is this not national news? We've been given no motives as to why Paddock shot these people. We don't really get any details about anything. They put out some video clips about 5 months after the event showing the whole thing like, okay, this is how Stephen Paddock did it, so quit asking questions. I'm sorry, three women in the room going unreported, this to me is like groundbreaking. How? I don't understand. I'm not seeing this anywhere on television news. I'm not seeing this anywhere on Drudge Report. This is huge groundbreaking news when it comes to the Vegas shooting, which we still don't have an answer for.
Yeah, look, the media has chosen to ignore it. And meanwhile, they're focusing on witness statements and other things that aren't as significant. And I think this is bombshell, right? And you know what's also very concerning about this is when these documents came out, right, I've begun the process of going through all 2,000 documents. And it's a very tedious process because it's a lot of reading, it's a lot of information. And you would think that on a PDF document, you would be able to do keyword searches, like optimal keyword searches. Well, let me tell you what they did to the documents. So LVMPD purposely altered these PDF documents and made the background of the documents a granular type of texture so that it inhibits it and it prevents anybody from doing any type of optimal keyword search. So you can usually do like Control F on a computer and type in words like terrorism or ISIS or, like whatever you want to do to find out whether there's something in a document that has a lot of words. But they intentionally distorted this document to prevent people from searching. So you have to read every word on your own in order to get information out of this document. You can see the granular background right there on the screen. It's just unreal what they're doing to prevent the truth from coming out.
Oh, man. Like I said, I stepped away from this story just because it seemed like it was going nowhere and we weren't really going to get many more details or never even get the truth. I salute you in your steadfastness and your commitment to reporting on this. I know that you're kind of almost a voice in the wilderness. I don't know if there's anyone else covering this like you are now. I just can't believe this. I mean, it's like the whole thing is coming back to me now. It's like all of it's coming back to me now, and it's just like 58 people died, and we don't even know why. And we know that we were lied to about the entire thing. And I guess I'm guilty too because I just let it go. I mean, I quit talking about it. I quit looking into it. We're more with Laura Loomer on the other side. This is bombshell. 3 women in the room. When and why is no one talking about it? Wow, this is just coming down the pipeline right now, and this is big. Oh my gosh, this is. I don't even think. I can't even properly do this justice, and we're going to get back to Laura Loomer here in a second. The Manhattan District Attorney grand jury has just indicted Harvey Weinstein in the rape case. Now, this goes so deep that I really need almost 24 hours to wrap my head around this, but let me just throw some names out there for you. Harvey Weinstein, Eric Schneiderman, and Amy Mack. Or Allison Mack. What's her name? Is it Allison Mack? I think it's Allison Mack. Thank you. Harvey Weinstein, Eric Schneiderman, Allison Mack, sex cult. And I'm just going to leave it at there for now, but this is just beginning, folks. This is just beginning. Wow. Harvey Weinstein indicted in rape case. Oh, he'll sing like a canary, and my guess is Allison Mack is too. And now you see why the liberal establishment is so freaked out right now. They want to demonize Trump for saying things about grabbing women they had in the past. That is crumbs compared to what goes on in these top sex cults that have Republicans in them and Democrats in them and all of the virtue signaling Hollywood stars. Pointing a finger at Trump for comments he made about a woman or having affairs, they're all in sex cults that have been charged with sex trafficking and human trafficking, folks. And you better believe that Mack and Weinstein are going to sing. Oh, and look at the comments. Trump is next. Oh, my gosh. And that brings me to another issue. You know, it's sad. It's sad. I can't even go down it. I'm going to go off the ledge here. Let me come back down to earth with Laura Loomer here. Okay, Laura. So what else is developing right now in your investigation into the Las Vegas shooting? I know that you talked about some of it, the 3 women in the room. Why is nobody talking about that? Why isn't that a huge story? Lombardo and the LVPD putting out the document so that it couldn't be scanned on a computer. What else is developing out there in Vegas?
Well, so I broke a story this weekend about how the Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department was holding an active shooter drill today, and they were very secret about it. They didn't really give a lot of details. And then a source within LVMPD had actually forwarded me the official flyer that they were sending around to the different officers. And this was like one of those real life shooter drills at a high school in Vegas where they have simulated gunfire and explosions and a helicopter responding to the scene. And it was so strange because they weren't really providing the public with any information about it. And then today, not only did they do the active shooter drill, but then Sheriff Lombardo held an unannounced press conference, right? He didn't even tell people he was having a press conference. He had this press conference with Aaron Rouse, who you recall, he's the guy, he's the head of the FBI in Las Vegas, who's the handler, right? The guy who was standing behind Sheriff Lombardo at all of these events. So they hold this press conference today, and Aaron Rouse is on the side. And then shortly after the press conference, LVMPD releases more documents within the Las Vegas shooting investigation, which they were forced to release by a court order. So this shooting drill was obviously just such a distraction. It was just a planned distraction.
Yeah, because why would Agent Rouse even be there?
That's my point, is why is the guy who runs the FBI in Las Vegas, who's been participating in this cover-up of the Vegas shooting, why is he at this active shooter drill? It's very, very strange. And honestly, it worked, because what did the media do today? Well, they focused on the fact that there was this drill, and then they ignored the fact largely that a lot of these documents about the Las Vegas shooting came out today. And you know why it's so concerning is because the truth, Owen, is about to come out. You know, in some of the previous video footage that was released, about a month or so ago, before these documents came out a week and a half ago, there was footage in there that shows when police officers entered the room, there were curling irons and like women's clothing and women's hair straighteners in the bathroom on the counter. So it explains why there would be 3 women in there. If Mary Lou Danley, his girlfriend, was out of the country and he was supposedly in a serious relationship with her and he was in the room by himself, why is it documented, right, that 3 women were inside the room, and why were there women's hair straighteners and curling irons all over the place? They don't want these women to be identified. They redacted their names from the document, and for some reason, not only did they lie about Paddock being alone in the room, but they are hiding who these women are. And I think that we're going to really learn a lot more about what happened in Vegas once we learn the identities of these 3 women.
Well, and let's just be perfectly clear here from an investigative perspective. We're told, really, I mean, without much proof, if you really want to get down to it, that Stephen Paddock was a lone gunman that shot and killed 58 people out at that country concert. That's what we're told. What proof? What evidence? Okay, well, we've got pictures of Paddock dead in. And no other motive, no other reason, nothing else really there. But now you, but here, hold on a second. If you're an investigator and now you learn that there were 3 women in the room, well, all of a sudden your whole narrative has to be reinvestigated. Now you don't even know if Paddock shot anyone. I mean, seriously, I'm not saying that's the case. I'm saying now you have to start the entire investigation over, but they had to know that from the very beginning, Laura.
That's my point, Owen, is that they've been misleading the American public for 8 months straight. What I'm trying to tell you here is if you look at those documents, you will see the timestamp from the night of the shooting, 11:02 p.m. They knew the night of the shooting. Oh, and they knew the night of the shooting that there were 3 women in that room. It says that when officers entered the room, there were 3 women. So what I want to know is for the past 8 months, why have they been misleading us? Why have they been telling us?
Does anyone know, Laura, does anyone know who these women are?
Their names have been redacted, and they were literally referred to.
So then the Vegas Police Department actually knows their identity?
Vegas Police Department and the FBI knows who these women are because if you pull up the graphic in my article, and you'll see right there for yourself, it says number 1, number 2, number 3, and all the names are redacted. And they said that the women themselves were actually checked in as well. They had a checkout date of the 2nd and a check-in date of the 25th, which is the same time that Stephen Paddock was set to check in and check out as well. So, you know, I just want to kind of dispel some rumors here because a lot of people were saying, oh, well, maybe he had hookers, right? Well, let's just go through
okay,
this.
so what? That's still a significant story.
But let's go through this, right? If you're a guy and you're ordering a hooker, do you let a hooker stay in your room and like bring her curling iron and her straightener? Isn't it just kind of like she comes?
Well, you're asking the wrong guy. So.
Yeah, but I'm just trying to understand male psychology here. Like, if you're paying for a hooker, you're paying for sex and then you're paying for her to leave, right? Like, you're not paying to have some woman stay with you and spend the night and like.
You know what? I think that's too ambiguous to get into. Honestly, I really don't know. I mean, wasn't there a movie about a hooker that ended up like marrying a guy? Pretty Woman, I think it was.
All I'm trying to say, though, because I remember the LVMPD mentioned that Paddock may have had hookers in his room, right? Why would a hooker be checked in?
See, that's less significant to me, whether they're hookers or not. Is really irrelevant. You need to. Oh, they already know all this. See, this is so frustrating. They already knew all this. Now it just shows you that they were even more. They were even telling us bigger lies from the very beginning. And then how come nobody questions the woman that's running around to the bar and to the front of the concert area saying you're all going to die?
Well, that leads me to my next question is, remember, that's actually mentioned in these dispatch reports, too. In the briefing, they document the fact that they said that there were 2 people who went to the front saying that you're all going to die. So were those were described as women, or at least one of them was. Was that one of the women who was in Stephen Paddock's room, right? Who are these women? The public has a right to know. And you know what? Sheriff Lombardo is running for re-election, and his election is on June 12th. That's about, what, two weeks from now? And everybody needs to retweet this story. You need to make it known that Sheriff Lombardo has been covering up the worst mass shooting in U.S. history. He's been deceiving the American public, lying to people, feeding us with misinformation, and he cannot, for the sake of public safety and really just for the sake of preserving the integrity of our law enforcement agencies, he cannot win another term as Clark County Sheriff. I mean, all of you guys need to hammer this guy on Twitter. You guys need to campaign against him, protest him, show up to his events, let him know that he needs to leave, right? We need to put a new sheriff in town.
I just can't even believe these developments in the stories. And the fact that they knew this the whole time. They knew that there were 3 quote-unquote women. I'll even go, who knows if they were women? They could have been cross-dressers. They could have been transsexuals. Point is, they knew there were 3 other people in the room Paddock was in, and they never told us. They lied to us the entire time.
INFOWARS Live.